Zondo Commission into state capture. That resumes today, and Treasury's Chief Director of Macroeconomic Policy, MaCleod, will be in the hot seat. Well, yesterday, the Commission heard from former Treasury Director General Lungisa Fuzile. He testified that former Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan warned Jacob Zuma that the nuclear deal could bring about corruption that would make the arms deal look like child's play. Well, Erin Bates is following that inquiry for us. Erin, a very good morning to you. So it was all about nuclear when we heard from Lungisa Fuzile yesterday, especially after he was one of the starters of this commission last year when it began. And just bring us up to speed on why he was back yesterday and what he's had to say about nuclear.
Yes, morning, Yuveka. It seemed as though when we began yesterday that Lungisa Fuzile, the former Director General of National Treasury, could undergo cross-examination from counsel for former Finance Minister Des van Rooyen. That wasn't to be because the chairperson of the inquiry, Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, has instructed via the legal team Van Rooyen to answer questions on cell phone records that place him in Saxonwold around the time he was appointed, albeit briefly, our Finance Minister in 2015. And so then Fuzile really touched on some themes he discussed before, as you've mentioned, of course, the important nuclear procurement program and concerns from National Treasury officials over the cost of that. Also some grievances, he says, that then President Jacob Zuma had with National Treasury for saying no to certain aspects of deals involving South African Airways, for example, PetroSA, Denel and other state entities. And he really articulated once again the breakdown in the relationship between the then head of state and government's piggy bank.
Okay, so we're due to hear from MaCleod. Just expectations of where she might go with what she has to tell the Commission.
Well, what is telling is that if you look at MaCleod's self-reported professional profile, she details 9 years in National Treasury. She holds a master's degree from a Catalonian university in Spain. She also has an undergraduate degree from a South African university. And she has, for the last 9 years, on her own reporting, worked as a chief director of macroeconomic policy, dealing with strategic risks, opportunities for the South African economy, and making policy recommendations to the finance minister. Now, importantly there, because she's been with National Treasury since, as she says, 2009, she would have provided insight to the likes of Minister Pravin Gordhan, also Minister Nhlanhla Nene, Des van Rooyen, if she could get anything in the few days he was finance minister, and then Gordhan again, because of course he was appointed shortly after Van Rooyen when the economy took such a knock following his appointment.
Okay, and all of this, though, leading us to the big Eskom focus, which we are expecting to happen tomorrow, Erin.
Correct, and we've heard from the inquiry's legal team head, Advocate Paul Pretorius, that they've assigned about 2 weeks to really investigate where the allegations of state capture, fraud and corruption and the state entity dovetail. And putting aside 2 weeks, we understood from information before Zondo yesterday that there's first going to be a few days of real technical information, setting the scene, providing the context before calling Eskom witnesses. And according to Pretorius, we'll have our first Eskom witness probably on Friday this week. And then that will, of course, run into next week. And the timing, Yuveka, of course, is critical. We have the Finance Minister, Tito Mboweni, giving us his budget speech this week. And with all the load shedding that has hit South Africans and South African business, it's a critical aspect of the work that the Commission needs to do.
Okay, certainly going to be another one of those interesting weeks at the Commission. Thank you very much, Erin Bates. You'll keep us bring us up to speed on everything, all the juicy bits that come out of this.